Former New Jersey Governor Christie has called Donald Trump a petulant child, and I'm here for it.
Either Donald Trump, if you believe what he said when they left, that means he didn't pick the very best people and doesn't know how to pick personnel. If you believe what he said at the beginning, the great stuff, then this guy is the worst manager in the history of the American presidency. Either way, Republicans should listen to what he says. He's a petulant child when someone disagrees with him. And whether it's Bill Barr or John Kelly or General Mattis, whether it is Mick Mulvaney or whether it's General Milley, if you disagree with Donald Trump, the petulant child comes out and he calls you names like the ones you just mentioned and the ones I mentioned.
He's not wrong. No lies detected from Chris Christie. Huh. So now what's interesting here is Chris Christie is actually one of the only top Republicans who's running. And yes, he is running against Donald Trump in a primary. But yet he's, again, one of the only ones out there who is not currently kissing Donald Trump's ass, which I find fascinating because he was one of the first to actually do so back in 2016. So now the other one, I mentioned, one of the few. There's another one. That's Asa Hutchinson, who was the former governor of Arkansas. Here's what he said about Trump in two different occasions.
And you agree with those 56%? You think Donald Trump should drop out of this race?
I've said that some time ago, and it's based upon the fact that you should put the office of presidency and our country above yourself. And whenever you've got these serious allegations against you, whenever you've got the challenge of multiple different investigations during the course of the next year, it's not fair to the country. It's obviously a very solid indictment. The grand jury found probable cause for it. Now, I do think Jack Smith's going to have a challenging time making the case in court, not because the facts are weak, but simply because you're going after a former president and you just have one juror that happens to be a Trump supporter or happens to be of a different viewpoint. You're not going to be able to get a conviction.
Juror. Okay. Look, again, he's right about that. Strong case, but could be wrecked by one juror. Okay. Anyway. So, to be fair, again, Asa Hutchinson, one of the only other Republicans that are running, that are actually going after Donald Trump, calling on him to, get out of the race, which of course might be advantageous to Asa Hutchinson, obviously, and Chris Christie, to be fair. But there's that. But what's the rest of the field? What are they doing? Well, they're kissing Donald Trump's ass, as I mentioned before. So they're out there, calling this, weaponization, all of them, essentially. In fact, Vivek Ramaswamy said, basically, I will pardon Donald Trump. So wait, if you're going to pardon him, then you think he's guilty. I'm just saying, you don't give pardons for innocent people, right? Generally. All right. So now, as I mentioned before, the rest of the field not attacking Trump on this. And why is that? It's because of the base. That's it. It's the base. Donald Trump currently crushing the field. 8 out of 10 Republicans think he's a victim of a witch hunt. And the Republican Party itself is already pretty much lined up behind Donald Trump. In fact, the RNC has already urged everyone to sign a pledge to support the eventual nominee. Now, having a pledge, this is not new. This is not controversial. Okay. But what's different about this one is what's in the pledge. Basically, there's a clause added for Trump saying that you promise to support the nominee regardless of whether the nominee is a convicted felon. Party of law and order, folks. So wait. You believe in the rule of law, you're back the blue, and yet, oh, by the way, Republicans in this primary, you have to support the nominee even if he's a convicted felon. Wow. That's just, again, That is, he admitted. They admit it. First of all, they're expecting Donald Trump to be the nominee, which is not a, it's not surprising, really. Yes, they expect Donald Trump to be the nominee, and so far, if current polling holds, he probably will be the nominee. And they also expect, or at least are thinking, it's very likely or possible that he will be convicted and be a felon. And still the party's saying, yeah, but if the base wants him, then we're going to do it. Then, you're going to have to support this convicted felon because, that's it. Wow. Now, by the way, Christie also talked about this pledge, and he said he's not going to sign it. Quote, he said, I'm going to take the pledge just as seriously as Donald Trump took it in 2016. As you will remember, Reince Priebus had to go up to Trump Tower to get him to sign the pledge and ask him to do so. He did. And then we went to a subsequent debate where we all asked if we would reaffirm our support to whoever the nominee was to be by raising our hand. There were 10 of us on the stage. 9 of us raised our hands. The one who didn't was Donald Trump. And so I will take the pledge in 2024 just as seriously as Donald Trump took the pledge in 2016. Okay, so here's the elephant in the room. And I don't mean Chris Christie. Because he's a Republican, obviously. Come on. Talk is cheap, folks. Talk is cheap. Chris Christie talks tough, but we've seen him bow down. Of course. The question is, are you finally gonna back it up? I don't buy it. Not until I see it. Okay? Look, if Donald Trump becomes the nominee, there is, I would say, about a 99 to 0.5% chance that every one of these Republican candidates will kiss Donald Trump's ass. And will immediately back him. Because, of course. Now, there is one thing that they could do that would actually make me believe a Republican. And it's if they actually decided to run a third-party challenge against Donald Trump if Trump wins the nomination. So if Chris Christie makes plans, and if Donald Trump wins the nomination, he says, screw it, I'm going third party. I'm going independent, and I'm going to run against Donald Trump. I'm basically I have no chance in hell of winning, but I'm going to peel enough Republicans away to sabotage Donald Trump in order to save our democracy. Then that's what I'm going to do. That is the only thing that would make me ever believe in any of these people, any of these Republicans that say, whoa, I care so much. Same with Asa Hutchinson. If Asa Hutchinson says, well, I didn't lose that. Oh, I didn't win that nomination. Oh, golly gee. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to run as an independent, and I'm going to take on Donald J. Trump. And any Republicans who actually do believe in not voting for convicted felons, you should probably support me. I know I ain't going to win, but I'm going to sabotage Donald Trump. Put your money where your mouth is. And again, it doesn't have to be. I know that none of these candidates, if they run an independent challenge against Donald Trump, they'll never win. Might not even poll 2, 3, 4, 5%. But it might be enough in key certain states to sabotage him. And that would send quite the message. That's the test here. That's the ultimate test. And unless, you actually plan to do that, then I'm just going to consider you a beta boy.
Beta male.
For Donald Trump. So, Chris Christie, I love the tough talk, but let's see some action behind those words. And when push comes to shove, I'm going to be watching all of you to see that if you actually do care enough about this country, not your own political aspirations, to take one for the team. Team America.